America just stopped in its tracks. A car that charges itself. No fuel, no plugs, no waiting. And now, Maxwell Industries has officially announced a lease price that's sending shockwaves to the auto industry. Just $699 a month. But how is that even possible? Is this the beginning of a new electric revolution or the biggest industry disruption since Tesla's Model 3? When Maxwell Technologies first unveiled its self-powered electric vehicle, a car capable of regenerating its own energy through an advanced electromagnetic drive system, many called it impossible. But this week, Maxwell made it official. The car is coming to U.S. roads, and leasing one will cost just $699 per month. That's right, less than the price of a luxury SUV lease. And this isn't just any EV. It's an energy-independent machine that never needs to plug in, never needs to refuel, and produces zero emissions. At the heart of Maxwell Self-Powered EV lies what engineers call the quantum flux energy converter, a system that captures and recycles kinetic and electromagnetic energy to sustain motion indefinitely. In simple terms, it's a closed-loop system. Energy flows, regenerates, and powers the vehicle continuously, dramatically reducing the need for external charging. It's the kind of innovation that once existed only in theoretical physics, until now. And that's exactly why experts, investors, and rival automakers are paying close attention. Analysts say the $699 monthly lease announcement is strategic. By undercutting competitors like Tesla, Rivian, and Lucid, Maxwell aims to accelerate mass adoption, placing its futuristic technology directly in the hands of everyday drivers. The result? A storm of reactions across social media. Some call it the death of range anxiety. Others see it as the beginning of energy freedom. But one thing is certain, America has never seen an offer like this before. Auto analysts are already predicting ripple effects across the global EV market. If Maxwell's lease program succeeds, it could pressure major automakers to rethink pricing, battery sourcing, and even grid dependency. Some insiders speculate that oil companies are quietly monitoring the rollout, concerned that a truly self-powered vehicle could accelerate the decline of fossil fuel demand. Meanwhile, Maxwell remains silent on production numbers, but early reports suggest thousands of pre-lease applications within hours of the announcement. Behind this revolution is a vision, a belief that energy should be limitless, clean, and accessible. Maxwell's founder once said, "The future isn't about charging faster. It's about not needing to charge at all." And now, that vision is finally hitting the roads of America. From skepticism to stunned disbelief, Maxwell's $699 announcement has done more than disrupt the auto industry. It's ignited a global conversation about what's truly possible. Is this the dawn of a new era where cars generate their own power? Or just the first step towards something even greater? One thing for sure, the race for the future of mobility has just changed forever. As Maxwell's first fleet prepares to roll out, the company's facilities buzz with an almost electric anticipation. Engineers, technicians, and software architects are working around the clock, fine-tuning every sensor, every circuit, and every line of code that gives life to this unprecedented vehicle. For many of them, this isn't just another car. It's a statement of human possibility, a quiet challenge to centuries of dependence on external energy. Meanwhile, potential drivers across the U.S. are joining long digital queues, signing up for test drives, and securing early lease slots. Online forums are filled with questions. How does it really work? What happens on cloudy days? What about long-distance travel? And with every answer Maxwell provides, curiosity deepens rather than fades. Early testers describe a driving experience that feels almost surreal. The car glides forward with remarkable silence, its onboard systems constantly monitoring and regenerating energy. It's not just an EV. It's a living, learning ecosystem on wheels. Some compare it to the first time people switched from candles to electric light, a quiet but irreversible shift in how energy interacts with daily life. As journalists begin to tour Maxwell's assembly centers, the reality behind the technology begins to unfold. Rows of precision-built components line the production halls, each designed to operate with minimal energy loss. Every surface, every joint, and every module seems to serve a dual purpose: part structure, part generator. The design philosophy behind the Maxwell EV draws from nature itself. The company's engineers often mention inspiration from biological systems that recycle energy with perfect efficiency, like the human heart or photosynthetic cells. Nature wastes nothing, one Maxwell scientist notes in an interview. We're simply following that logic. Outside, the first batch of vehicles is being prepared for media demonstrations. Their polished bodies reflect the morning light, like moving mirrors, silent yet full potential. Industry observers call it a calm revolution. No fanfare, no overstatement, just a steady introduction of a technology that could quietly alter everything. Beyond America's borders, other nations are taking notice. Reports suggest that countries in Europe and Asia are in discussions with Maxwell for early access programs. Some African innovators, who have long championed self-sufficient power systems, view this development as validation of their own vision. For them, Maxwell's success is not just about cars, but about energy independence on a global scale. A world where communities, even remote ones, could one day move freely without depending on complex fuel networks or fragile grids. The implications reach far beyond transportation. They touch on sustainability, equality, and freedom itself. Financial analysts, meanwhile, are rethinking traditional models. Leasing a self-powered vehicle means energy costs essentially vanish. For households, that could mean hundreds of dollars saved every month, money that can now flow back into local economies. And as Maxwell's ecosystem expands, new possibilities arise. Imagine homes powered by similar self-generating systems, or public buses that never need charging depots. The line between transportation and energy production begins to blur, opening doors to new industries and ideas. Still, Maxwell's leadership remains measured. They avoid grand declarations, focusing instead on refining and scaling responsibly. Their message to the public is simple: we're building for generations, not just markets. The morning of the long-awaited public demonstration arrives under clear blue skies in California. The venue, a broad, sunlit test track surrounded by media crews and industry experts, hums with anticipation. Cameras align, microphones test, and drones hover quietly overhead, capturing every moment from above. Then, as the gates open, the first Maxwell Self-Powered EV rolls onto track. Its silver body glimmers softly in the sunlight, minimalist yet confident, bearing no noise except for the gentle hum of its internal systems. There are no charging cables, no fuel stations in sight, just motion born from the rhythm of its own design. When the driver presses the accelerator, the car glides forward with fluid grace. Reporters watch their meters and instruments in awe as energy levels remain remarkably stable, the power flow self-adjusting with every movement. The dashboard, unlike any other car, displays an infinite loop of energy balance, a constant cycle of generation and use. A quiet realization sweeps through the audience. They are witnessing a car that may never need an external source of power again. Whispers ripple across the crowd, soon turning into measured applause. Engineers exchange knowing glances, while journalists scramble to draft headlines. One veteran automotive reporter, usually known for his skepticism, simply murmurs, "It's effortless." Social media platforms explode with live updates. Clips of the demonstration flood the internet. Short videos showing the car accelerating, cruising, and stopping, all without any sign of energy depletion. Within hours, hashtags related to Maxwell's test drive trend globally, sparking discussions about what this means for the future of mobility. Drivers around the world begin imagining a life without gas stations or charging ports. Students in technology programs replay the demonstration footage, inspired by the idea that science, when guided by vision, can still surprise the world. Later that day, Maxwell releases the official test data. The report confirms what many had hoped. The car completed over 500 miles on closed-loop operation, with energy retention efficiency measured at over 97%. The readings show minimal thermal loss, and the regenerative system continuously balances output with near-perfect precision. Experts call the results unprecedented. Yet the company maintains its modest tone. Their statement reads, "Our goal was never just to build a car. It was to prove that energy can be circular, sustainable, and accessible to all." Behind the scenes, automotive giants are quietly studying the data, comparing it to their own benchmarks. Some begin forming internal task forces, while others reach out to Maxwell to explore potential partnerships. A subtle shift has begun, a recognition that the rules of the energy game may be changing. Amid all the excitement, attention turns to the people who made it possible. The Maxwell team includes researchers from diverse backgrounds, engineers, environmental scientists, and dreamers who once faced rejection from conventional institutions. Many of them worked in small labs, driven by a shared belief that clean, continuous energy could exist. Their story is one of quiet perseverance. Years of trials, countless prototypes, and moment of doubt finally converged into this moment of validation. During interviews, some describe it not as triumph, but as relief, the feeling of finally seeing the world understand what they had long envisioned. For them, the $699 monthly lease isn't just a business milestone. It's a symbolic bridge connecting innovation with accessibility, science with everyday life. As the first wave of lease approvals goes live, Maxwell's headquarters becomes a symbol of modern innovation, not just for its technology, but for what it represents: a shift, a new beginning. The assembly lines hum steadily, producing vehicles that seem almost alive, each one carrying within it the quiet promise of a cleaner world. Across the nation, the first drivers begin to receive their keys. Some are engineers, others teachers, small business owners, families who have long dreamed of owning an electric car but found the cost too high or the charging too complicated. When they take their first drives, a common feeling emerges: serenity. The motion feels smooth, effortless, timeless. There's no anxiety about distance or charge, just a calm realization that energy has, for once, become part of the flow of life itself. In cities and small towns alike, the Maxwell EVs start appearing, gliding through streets, whispering change. People watch as these vehicles move quietly by, their sleek silhouettes glowing softly under the evening sun. They become more than cars. They become symbols. Governments and energy firms begin adapting, rethinking infrastructure plans, drafting new policies for an age where mobility and sustainability coexist. Economists describe it as a gentle disruption, one that redefines wealth not by consumption but by efficiency and balance. For Maxwell, however, the journey is far from over. The company continues to innovate quietly, focusing on refining its energy system for other uses: homes, public transport, and even remote energy networks. Their goal, as one of the lead engineers says in a quiet interview, is not to dominate, but to share the science of continuity. As the months pass, the $699 lease becomes more than a marketing number. It becomes a doorway into a future once thought impossible. And somewhere in that vast future, humanity takes one small, silent step closer to true energy freedom. The world doesn't change overnight, but it begins to glow differently. Streets hum with quiet vehicles, homes power themselves, and a generation of young inventors look to Maxwell's journey as proof that belief and patience can turn the impossible into the inevitable. The story of the self-powered EV is no longer just about technology. It's about trust, imagination, and the unending pursuit of harmony between humankind and the world that sustains it. And as the final scene fades, a Maxwell EV gliding along an open coastal road, sunlight reflecting off its silent frame, a single line appears on the screen. The future doesn't arrive with noise. It arrives when we listen,